They'll come to shatter the serenity. From far and wide, they'll come to this cauldron of speed. To unleash 600 horses. To seize a Whelen modified dream.
This is the calm before the storm.
Here we go, green flag.
Right now it's pedal to the metal. You've got a lot of movers and shakers.
Hard driving because it's Bristol and because you want to win this thing.
Engaged to fight for supremacy.
3 wide? I can't believe it.
Prevail in Thunder Valley and they'll inherit a legacy.
3 words are all you need. Modifieds. Thunder Valley. The NASCAR Whelen Modified Tours invade Bristol, Tennessee for the University of Northwestern Ohio Perfect Storm 150. The 4th trip to Bristol for the Modifieds. Ryan Newman from the Cup Series is here to battle the best from the North and the South. The North led by Doug Coby, second-generation driver. He's the point leader up in the Northeast. And yes, Georgie Brunholzl is from Long Island, but he races on the Southern Modified Tour, where he is the point leader. Beautiful day in Bristol. Mike Joy with Dick Berggren here raising funds for the proposed Northeast Motorsports Museum up in New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Got his Speedway Illustrated hat on and ready to go for one of our favorite events of the year and the great unexpected today, because this is the newly reground, reconfigured, new old Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and we saw some tremendous speeds in practice, Mike. In fact, several guys cut laps that were quicker than any NASCAR car has ever run at this place. We didn't get that in qualifying just because of the heat of the day, but we also saw some people spinning out and having trouble. Get a right rear into that new grinding, and that's a very good way to lose it. Donnie Leah tried to make it through turns 1 and 2 wide open without lifting. That didn't work.
He'll be in a backup car as Ron Silk posted yet another pole position. Well, let's go trackside to another lifelong modified fan, Bob Dillner.
Absolutely excited to be here, and the banking, so much talk about it. From the bottom of the track to the top of the track, 24 degrees to 28 degrees. But how does that affect the mighty modifieds here? They're low slung. They got high horsepower and big old wide tires. No better person to ask than 7-time champion Mike Stefanik. Does this change in the banking here affect things at all for you guys?
No, Bobby, it doesn't. Because our cars don't run quite as high, we got those big fat Hoosier tires, allow us to stay a little lower on the racetrack. And we're pretty much almost wide open around here when our tires are fresh. So we have an awful lot of grip. We don't need to go that high to find any.
The bottom line is Mike Stefanik says you will see 2 wide racing around this racetrack the entire way, guys.
Only 2 wide? Well, it doesn't surprise me, not in the least. NASCAR's only open-wheel division is set to do battle at the world's fastest half-mile, live on Speed, next. It is a picture-perfect day in East Tennessee. The temperature bumped 80 degrees, not too humid, a light breeze, and a cloud every once in a while. Great racing weather for summertime as the Modifieds roll out onto the track, the UNOH Perfect Storm 150. Ron Silk has his 7th career pole. He won the season opener at Thompson. Donnie Leah qualified second. Todd Zegedy, only driver with top 5s in all 3 races here, and Ted Christopher. John McKennedy making his first Bristol start in the modified, and Ryan Preece, who won at Mad Dog. Ryan Newman, is he the man to beat today? Eric Goodale. Brian Chu, 6th top 10 start of the year, and George Brunholzl, the 3rd, the South Point leader. Patrick Emmerling, 13th in points, and Justin Bonsignor, former pole winner here. Doug Coby, 4 wins this season, and Burt Myers, the standout of Bowman Gray. Frank Fleming and Cole Powell, who will also go to the rear. Tim Brown just wrapped up the championship at the Madhouse, and Eric Beers. Rowan Pennick and Jimmy Blewett in the 10th row. John Smith and Ron Uhas from North Carolina and Connecticut, respectively. Andy Seiss and 7-time Tour champ Mike Stefanik in row 12. Kyle Eversole, Gary Fountain, row number 13. And John Keefman and Jason Myers back in the 14th row. Ken Hagee and Eric Burnt. That's row 15. Danny Bone, he's got a win at the Madhouse this year. Ed Flemke Jr. Michael Spini and 1990 champ Jamie Tomeno. Thomas Stinson and Wade Cole. That's your starting lineup. Our speed ride-along program has you with Mike Stefanik, 7-time Tour champion, driving a car wrenched by Brad LaFontaine's Northeast Race Cars. Mike's a native of Wilbraham, Mass., now lives in Coventry, Rhode Island. He's also a champion of NASCAR's Busch North Series, now K&N East. And the Rocket, Ryan Newman, driving for Cup crew chief Kevin Mannion. He's won here twice in the modifieds. And there is the view at the front end of Newman's car. Don't worry about that big air cleaner. You get used to it after a lap or two. But yeah, it blocks a good bit of the view. Bob Dillner.
The only other guy to win a race here in the modifieds at Bristol other than Ryan Newman, Donnie Leah, like you guys mentioned. He wrecked in qualifying today. Had one of the fastest cars here. This car that he's running, a backup to Todd Szegedy. I spoke to Donnie before he got behind the wheel of this machine. He said the team's plan is to go the entire way. Feel it out, see what he can do in this car. They know the two-team of Todd Szegedy has very good equipment, good engines. He believes he can get a good finish out of this one today. He's 5th in Whelen Modified Tour points, and man, he really wants to do well here at Bristol.
And Leah at Thompson a couple of weeks ago wound up in the very back of the pack when he had to re-pit in one of these races and unlapped himself after he lost a lap in the pits, and then proceeded to pass every single car on the racetrack to win it. So don't worry about where Donnie Leah is starting. He's good enough to win in that backup.
But it's not his backup.
It's not, but it's going to be set up very well for him. He's just got to get used to it. It'll take him a while, and he could have a good night out of it.
All right, you see cars dropping to the rear as indicated on the starting lineup. Duplicate numbers are solved here by each car carrying an N or S from north or south. Whelen Modified Tours as applicable. Mike Stefanik, the all-time career race winner. Ted Christopher's in the field. Reggie Ruggiero not here this weekend, nor Tony Hirschman or Jeff Fuller.
That's Christopher in the number N3 car that you see on the outside of the second row. That's his 3rd ride of the year. He started with a team that's gone now, and he is in the bowler number 3 tonight.
So Ronnie Silk elects the outside. Todd Szegedy moves up 1 row with Leah going to the rear. We are racing at Bristol. Silk can't close the door. Here comes Szegedy for the lead. Christopher drops to the bottom. 1-2. Ryan Preece in the 16 looking low, and Silk slams the door. 1, 2, 3. Szegedy, Christopher, and Silk on lap 1. Then Preece, McKennedy, Ryan Newman 6th. Goodale, Brunholzl, Chu, and Bonsignor the top 10.
And in these early laps, Mike, these cars are anything but stable. If you watch them, they're just wiggling this way and that. And given the number of spinouts that we've had and the number of contacts with the wall that we have had, that's got to raise the heartbeat of these drivers more than a little bit.
As in Sprint Cup, the field gets single file pretty quickly. Oh no, around goes the 77, and they all come piling in at the start finish line.
That's John Smith right on top of a car coming across.
That is mayhem.
What a wreck. Oh, look at this, half the field or more. Newman.
13 cars were in front of the spinning number 77 of Ryan Newman, and almost everybody else was involved. Look at some of the damage there. Now there's Burt Myers coming in with a lot of left front and roof damage.
That's Rowan Pennick's car. He's the one that was on the bottom of the John Smith deal. Wow, what a mess.
Well, Dick, everybody's coming off turn 4 with a full head of steam.
Yep.
And when you're flying off turn number 4, as we look at Andy Seiss, you can't see much of that front straightaway.
And Newman just got right out sideways, and then
he looped it.
And the caution was out.
And backed away from the mayhem.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, you can hear the tires. Sideways. And behind them, look out. Newman did a great job. Looks like he escaped that entirely without damage.
As I say, when you're in the middle of 3 and 4, you can't see much of that front straightaway. and it clogs quickly when cars get sideways.
No, but just look at this. Look at John Smith right over the top of Pennick's car. Oh, goodness. Jimmy Blewett is in it. The 40 of Frank Fleming is in it. Stefanik had a very, very fast car.
Wow. Wow. No, that's not even funny.
No.
Gosh.
Nope.
That's violent. Four laps complete. Red flag on the speedway.
As it should be.
Looking at the rescue workers, it appears that everybody is climbing out okay. I see this one car against the wall where they are still working. And that's that's Wade Cole.
Yep.
From Riverton, Connecticut.
Tim Brown's the other one.
And Tim Brown's the other one. Tim just wrapped up a record 9th championship at Bowman Gray last weekend, and he's staying in the car having a word with officials, perhaps to see if he can get restarted. Yeah, he's fine. Mike Stefanik walking back, and you'll see the 66 right in the middle of this red car with a black roof, right in the middle of mayhem.